I don't know.
There's always a sense of urgency after a loss. Your sense of urgency is always there to start the season, whether you win or lose, but especially after a loss. It's not that you press, but no one wants to go 0-2, and that's our focus right now. We want to get to 1-1.
Robert Griffin III yesterday after the opening loss for the Redskins at the hands of the Houston Texans down in Houston. Nobody wants to go 0-2, Trevor Matich. Well, that's an understatement. What happened yesterday?
Well, it's hard to explain, Larry. It's really hard to explain. The Redskins stopped them on defense. They moved the ball well on offense, and they found a way to get absolutely annihilated on the 3 or 4 biggest plays of the game and gave it away to a team that was 2-14 last year.
And, I mean, on paper, the Skins actually didn't look too bad. Statistically, I mean, they were just, as you mentioned, a couple of plays and some pretty big blunders, a lot of turnovers there.
Well, that was the problem. And on paper and on the field, they did well. I mean, their feature running back, Alfred Morris, averaged over 6 yards a carry. Roy Halou, the backup running back, ran the ball very well. Robert Griffin III completed 78% of his passes, which is unheard of unless you get to the point to where they were mostly short passes to try to protect him from the Houston pass rush. Even so, completing all those short passes gave them a chance to move the chains and move the ball, and they did. This game came down to 3 plays. 3 plays. One was a blocked punt that Houston picked up in return for a touchdown. This was a pure mental mistake, a mental mistake. The guy was Roy Halou Jr., decided that he wasn't going to finish the first part of the punt, which is protect the punter. And his guy came inside, blocked the punt. Same guy picked it up, scored. The other 2 were fumbles inside the 10-yard line. The Redskins, they drove the ball well. Then they got inside the 10 and fumbled it away. Now, you take those 3 plays, and 2 of those were a mental mistake. One of the fumbles was a goofy physical thing where RG3 tripped and fell. The other fumble was by Niles Paul, and it was just a mental mistake. He failed to protect the ball. And so those things cost the Redskins the game after having played well enough on defense especially, but on offense as well, to win this thing.
All right, so, I mean, the whole idea here is we're going to take RG3 and make him a pocket passer. Did you see the improvement that you wanted to see in that particular area?
Yes. RG3 threw the ball well. He made good decisions. He avoided the big mistake, and his instincts were terrible. So you throw all those things in there, and I think the things that he could really control, he controlled well. He didn't force the ball into coverage like he has in the past. He didn't make a big mistake as he has in the past. No interceptions. And he stood in that pocket, and he took a lot of hits. He was very courageous. But he didn't take many unnecessary hits. The hits that were really unnecessary were the ones where his instincts were bad, where the pocket began to collapse a little bit around him, and instead of stepping up into the pocket like you need to do, he ran out of the pocket and ran outside to where the guys were being blocked, guys that would not have hit him had he not run out there himself. But it'll take him a long time to get those instincts down. That's not why the Redskins lost the game. Overall, I like the fact that he made good, quick decisions, got the ball out quickly, there was accuracy, gave his guys a chance to run after the catch because of the quickness of his decisions. And overall, I give RG3's grade an A, even though the coach said that the quarterback and the play caller, the coach, get a bad grade when you lose. But overall, RG3 actually had a very, very good debut.
Our guest is Trevor Matich, of course, our Redskins analyst, and this Redskin Report is brought to you by Fork Union Military Academy.
I had a question. This is was the first game for the new coach. What's your assessment of him? I know he can't make a judgment off one game, but he was pretty disappointed. He said he summed up his feelings as sick because they lost the first game. What do you think of him as a coach so far?
I give him an A for this game. An A,
really?
Maybe even an A+.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and here's why. First of all, you look at drilling into the field, offensive game planning. He knew his offensive line was overmatched by the Texans' pass rusher, J.J. Watt, and they were. Yeah. And yet he still had a game plan that allowed them to gain more yards than the Texans and put them into scoring position had they not just fumbled it away. So the game planning was fantastic. That's number one. But number two, the reason I give him an A is that he's not saying these things that I'm saying right now. He's saying that everybody will be held to account and nobody will get a mulligan. And since we lost, I'm not happy with any.
He's not letting anyone off the hook.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And the defense went out there and held Houston to one offensive touchdown. The defense was magnificent, and they don't even get a pass because they lost. I love that accountability that the coach is demanding right now in Week 1. It's another reason I give Coach Gruden an A.
Yeah, just looking at some other games and the Redskin game as well, it seems to me that the refs, I mean, you can't even graze a quarterback these days. You can't even get close to a quarterback without getting called on it, it seems. I mean, are they calling it a little differently than they did last season? It seems to me they are.
They are. It's a point of emphasis from the lawyers mostly. The Texans had a roughing the passer penalty on RG3 that when you look at it, the replay, it was clear that no contact with RG3's head was made. He was not driven into the ground, but they called it anyway on Houston. The thing is, head trauma is not good entertainment. And there have been too many guys laying on the field, woozy, and occasionally carted off on gurneys after being hit in the head. And so the NFL knows that they can fund knee replacements later in life for former players. That's pretty cheap. But the cost of funding the care for head trauma and all the things surrounding it is very expensive, and they've been told that by their lawyers and by their accountants. So even if they, even if you don't give them credit for the moral side of protecting a player, it's very expensive to have that. Plus, when you look at the entertainment value, they don't want guys laying on the ground with potential issues to their brain.
Yeah.
Add it all up, and there's a point of emphasis in the NFL, and has for several years, on making sure that players that hit other players in the head or almost hit other players in the head are dealt with sharply.
Trevor Matich only got 10 seconds really quickly. Deshaun Jackson in his first game as a Redskin. How'd he look?
He had 8 catches. He was fantastic. They didn't have time to throw the ball to him vertically, so they threw it to him short, and he made guys miss and made things happen. It looks good.
All right, so Trevor Matich thinking pretty positive after the Redskins' opening loss. Thank you, Trevor.